And welcome to another episode of GamerHeads. My name is Roger, aka Rogue Leader 76, and with me are my co-host Blue,
aka Writer's View,
and my co-host Mike,
aka Pezman Mike,
and the train,
aka Train.
It's the Hogwarts train. It
is.
Came for me.
Coming right through our living room.
Oh no! And and Christian,
aka Fulgan.
Christian, you must live next to the trains, huh?
I do, yeah. There's the other podcast I'm on. Every podcast, the train makes an appearance, a special guest appearance by the train.
That's awesome. Well, it's funny because this is the first house I think I've lived in that's not next to a train. Like every house I lived next to has always had a train go by at like 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock at night. And wake me up.
But isn't your house now haunted?
Yes, that's true.
So what's your preference?
I don't know.
Pick your poison, Roger.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think the takeaway here is do not let Roger pick your house.
Yeah.
Oh,
do not pursue your sale or your real estate agent license.
No.
Oh, yeah. So, welcome to the show. We have a lot to cover this week. Next week, I just want to give a shout out here. Next week, I'll be interviewing Aaron Kim from NIS America.
Ooh.
And talking about what it means to be in media relations, and then also talk about some upcoming games for NIS America. So that'll be next week. This week, we have our hot topic is how come they can't make a good movie based on a video game. So with Detective Pikachu just released, and I went to go see it, like literally half an hour before recording this show. And yeah, some thoughts on it. I won't spoil it for anybody, but I will say this. The best part is the cards that we got for free.
I won't spoil it for anybody, but
here's a spoil.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll talk about why they can't make a good movie based on a video game. And then we have some news and games that we're currently playing, and then also your feedback as well from last week. But before we get into all that, I do have an icebreaker this week. And the icebreaker that I have, so Christian, you had some other weird icebreaker that you mentioned to me, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But we'll do this one instead. Yeah, I'm sorry. What is the one game that you could play over and over again?
Oh, you're just going to bring up that Christian had an icebreaker and it sucked and then just drop it?
I don't even... What was the icebreaker, Christian? You remember?
Well, I really like pickles.
Oh, that's right.
And at other places I would work at, I would ask them, what's the weirdest thing you can think of to pickle? And one person told me they would pickle their socks so that they would keep them safe for a very long time. So what would you guys pickle?
Probably not socks.
I mean, that one won.
I thought it was, what's your favorite pickle? What, dill or butter or spicy? I thought that was the topic that you wanted to talk about, not what would you pickle.
Okay, sure. We could talk about whatever. We could talk about one game you play over and over again.
Yeah, and then we could talk about your favorite pickle. Yeah, what game would you pickle if you could?
Ooh, that's a good segue.
Christian, what game would you pickle if you could pickle a game?
I would pickle The Binding of Isaac because I do play that game over and over, and I can't stop playing it. And, people tell me that they like slot machines. Like, I grew up with my grandparents. They would, buy computer games that were just, slot machines. And I was like, well, what's the point? You're just sitting there clicking a knob, and then you watch the things finish slot machining, and then you get more fake money or you lose more fake money. What's the point? And then I read this Reddit post.
I don't know about it's fake money, though, actually. I think it's real money.
In their computer games.
Oh, in their computer games. Oh,
fake. Why?
Fake,
Why would you? Yeah. There's.
Okay.
What's the point?
I thought you meant actual casinos. Okay.
No, that too. You get real money when you do that. And that's why I read this one Reddit post. I was like, why would anyone even go to a slot machine? Why would anyone play them? And then I read this Reddit post that was talking about this one guy who wouldn't go to the bathroom when he played a slot machine. He would just bring a cup with him, and he would go to
That's
the bathroom
disgusting.
while he was
Come
playing the slot
on.
machine, because apparently
Come
people
on.
get so enthralled into these things, and the way the colors, pop off, and the way the machine dings, that they just can't stop playing it. And for me, that's Binding of Isaac. I just got to go in there for my next hit. I never know what it's going to give me, but I want it to give me something good so bad. And when it does give me something good, that's enough to keep me playing it for another 10 hours. That's all I need.
Do you have a cup that you bring with you when you play that game?
No, I don't, but I
okay.
probably should. That's a good idea.
I feel like we're really starting the show off on a high note.
Oh, yeah.
I bring a cup with me wherever I go anyway, so
What?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
No problem.
It's funny that you said about the slot machine, because the one time that I actually went to a casino and spent money, and I only did this once, and it's weird because I'll plug quarters into an arcade machine and I won't get anything except for just enjoyment of playing an arcade game. But I brought $20 with me to a casino. I lost it all, and I had one nickel in my pocket. Like, I lost it in like 15 minutes. And then I put it in this slot machine, and I won it all back. And I am not kidding. I thought it was like The Walking Dead, because all these like old people started surrounding me, like waiting for me to get off the hot machine, the nickel machine.
I see.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to do this ever again.
Yeah, that stuff's weird. Those machines are very specifically programmed to psychologically manipulate you into playing over and over. So,
yeah.
But you gamed the system, Roger. Good job.
I did. Thank you. What about you, Blue? What's one game that you would pickle?
Well,
She can't seriously answer.
I don't even know where to begin with this.
I don't even know what that means. What's
I
one
don't
game
know
that
what
you
that
could
means.
play over and over again?
I always play a ton of Tetris and Dr. Mario.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always I go through Super Mario 3 probably once a year. Dark Cloud I've replayed, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Oh,
Jeez, that's a long game.
It is a long game. The more I play it, the less I bother to build up the other characters.
Smart.
Yeah,
Dark Cloud
it's
is like a
just
deep cut.
way too much grinding.
Like, I don't know if a lot of people know that game. Maybe it's a popular game, but I
think
knew
it's
it
a little
through my friends.
A little underknown, but still every time I talk about it, I definitely get a lot of responses like, "Oh, I love that game." So, it's a sleeper hit, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, those are and well, we'll have news about Tetris, but yeah, that's exciting.
I would not pickle any of those.
No,
I feel like
okay.
that would ruin them.
Don't pickle a Switch game, because then you're going to get it all, like the Switch cartridges taste nasty. And then the
Yeah.
pickle juice is going to taste like that. You don't want that.
No.
You want nice pure pickle juice at the end. Something to enjoy, like a dessert.
Mm.
I didn't know you
Yes.
were such a pickle connoisseur.
What is
I
going
love me
on?
some pickles, man.
Yeah.
My mom craved pickles when she was pregnant with me, and I think that's why.
Oh.
It's my theory.
Yeah. You went off on a whole thing about all the different pickles you can like, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So
I just want to let you know I've probably heard the word pickle more times in the past 5 minutes than I have in my entire life. Just going to throw that out there.
Mike, what's your favorite game? What's one game that you could play over and over again?
Well, the games that I would pickle, I have 2 that I'd like to say. The first one is Resident Evil 4, and
Yeah.
I love playing that game over and over again, and especially I love playing it over and over again because the more you played it, the more awesome weapons you unlocked, and by the time it's like your 3rd or 4th playthrough, you could just blast through it with your overpowered weapons
Heck yeah.
and
Heck
infinite
yeah.
ammo.
That regenerator in the weird basement thing.
Yep.
Screw him.
Those
I'm not
things
even
suck.
afraid of that guy anymore. It just takes one shot. Yep, no, ready to move on. Although the Ashley parts do kind of
She never gets any less annoying, no matter how strong your weapons are.
yeah. So I would do that, and then the other game I would pickle would be Turtles in Time.
Oh,
That's
that's
a
a good
good one.
game.
Yeah, because I could play that for half an hour at a time. or I could play it for a few hours with a buddy or something. So I always enjoy playing that one over and over and over.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good game. For myself, I would have to say, like, if I could sit down and play a game over and over and over again, I would probably pick Pac-Man. I know it sounds weird, but I love me some Pac-Man.
Ooh. Have you figured the optimized path out, Roger?
No, probably not.
No. There's one path you can just do it over and over,
like
and you finish it.
Oh. There's an end to Pac-Man? Wait, there's an end to Pac-Man?
Yeah, if you like overflow the scoreboard, then the whole screen gets all funky. Like Mike was saying when he was playing Pac-Man 256, is that what it's called?
Yes. 257?
257?
Something like that? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it gets up to level 257, and then there's like a code that goes straight down the middle of the screen, and it kills it. It's a kill screen.
Wow. Okay, I've never gotten that far. But I'm not good at it. I just like to play it, and I like to think I'm good at it.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm not good at it. But yeah, no, I like the reason I like playing that is just, I don't know, there's some nostalgia to it. Like, that was one of my first games that I owned on the Atari. So I really enjoy playing Pac-Man, and I played hours and hours and hours of Pac-Man, and this is something that even when I see it in the arcade, I'm like, oh, gotta play Pac-Man.
What's your stake in the Pac-Man versus Ms. Pac-Man game, Roger?
I like Miss Pac-Man more.
Everybody does. It's a better game.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when I say Pac-Man, I guess I could say Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Man. I've never played Pac-Man Jr., so I can't say that.
That one's terrible.
Oh.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, though. Pac-Man, for me, Pac-Man will always remind me of Pizza Hut, because they had one of those Pac-Man cocktail tables at my Pizza Hut when I was a kid. Good times.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, I think ours did too. Yeah, I kind of want one of those, so... Anyway, listeners, what is your game that you would like to pickle? That sounds weird. That you would like to play over and over again, or you could play over and over again.
Embrace it, Roger. Embrace the pickle.
Every time I see pickle, I think of break the pickle, tickle, tickle, tickle. But that's because I have kids.
All right, Roger.
You never heard that?
No, good.
You never heard?
God, no.
Does
have
it
you guys
change
ever
the
heard?
show from a PG to a PG-13 rating?
Wait, you guys never heard of Christian? You heard of break the pickle, right?
No.
What?
Sorry.
You have somebody stands there with their two fingers together, and they come up to you and say, break the pickle, and then you cut it in the middle, and then they come up to you and say, tickle, 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 tickle. You never had this happen?
Fingers off, and then they tickle you?
Sounds like something that's going to be in the new It movie or something.
I thought you were in Wisconsin, not Florida.
You never had anybody do that?
No,
I think I would call the cops.
Yeah, if someone tried to break my fingers apart and then tickle me as I try to scoop up my fingers from the ground.
No, the person holds their fingers, their two pointer fingers together, and they hold it in front of you, and they say break the pickle, and then you take your hand and you break it in half, and then they go tickle, 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 tickle. I don't know, like that's.
No, I have a personal bubble, man. And if some stranger comes...
That doesn't happen to me now. Nobody comes up to me and say, hey, Roger, break the pickle.
Do me a favor, Roger. Test that out on a stranger.
I'm never doing that to a Christian.
Come back next
on Monday.
Week.
On Monday, I'm going to come to you, Christian, and tell you to break.
Uh-oh.
No, because on Monday he's going to be in a body bag.
No, like my uncles
Roger,
and my grandpa.
We're going to save you from yourself right now.
What's going on in the news?
Let's move on to the news.
Well, all right, let's move on to the news. I was going to say, listeners, if you want to know us, let us know what games you could play over and over again. You can send us a tweet at GamerHeads PC. You can send us an email at info@gamerheadspodcast.com. You can go to facebook.com/GamerHeadsPodcast, or you can go to our website, and it's gamerheadspodcast.com, and leave us a message there. All right, let's move on to the news then. Otherwise, I'm going to start laughing again. All right, so moving on to the news. I'll start it off. I have an item here. This is actually a little bit old, but I forgot to mention it last week. But this is from Nintendo Life. The game A Dark Room was removed from the eShop because of a special Easter egg. So Imran Rajan, the man responsible for converting the game from its original form to the version that was released on the Switch and mobile devices, spoke about a hidden online feature. And he explained that he had hidden a Ruby interpreter and code editor as an Easter egg. So this was his tweet, and he said, let me pull up the tweet here quick. And in the tweet he said, "Dear Ruby devs and game devs, I have a crazy announcement that I want to share. Please boost. Last week, I released a Darkroom on Nintendo Switch. Within the game, I also shipped a Ruby interpreter and a code editor as an Easter egg." And then it says, "This Easter egg effectively turns every consumer-spec'd Nintendo Switch into a Ruby machine." And it says, gives you the steps. Number 1, download a Darkroom from the US and EU shop. 2, connect the US keyboard and press the... What is that key? Squiggle key? I'm not sure what that key is.
Tilde?
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's a squiggle key.
3, follow the online instructions. So he did this, and then the game got pulled from the eShop. Shocking, right? And then he was speaking with Eurogamer, and after that has been removed, and he opened up about the events, and he said, "I deeply regret how this has blown up." What? A simple toy sandbox environment has been framed as this massive exploit. And of course, it's the community that exploits these things that pushed it up to that level. I'm partly to blame with my sensationalization of the media posts. I acted alone and stupidly. It was a last-second spark of inspiration, and I snuck it in, assuming that plugging in a US keyboard and pressing the squiggle key wasn't part of the test plan. Having Circle deal with some of this cannon fire is something I never wanted. These past 3 days have been the worst days of my life, and I don't know what to say except I'm sorry. And all I wanted to do was allow kids and coding adults that have forgotten the joy to discover what I discovered 25 years ago. He goes on to say, "The narrative that has played out online is exactly what's wrong with this trash can fire of a world. Everyone in an armchair, everyone is an armchair expert. Everyone thought the worst. You've seen that I've been called a dick, idiot, and everything in between because sensationalized news sells. If the narrative was, I added a sandbox to a Darkroom that lets you mod the game and provide a medium for kids to code, it would have gone unnoticed." So the game is no longer there. Circle's working with Nintendo to try to bring it back onto the eShop. But, that's interesting. So if you own the game on the eShop, there you go.
Why is this such a problem?
Well, so basically they can make games, right, on the Switch, right? I mean, I don't know. Christian, you're the expert on this stuff, not me.
I don't know. Maybe it lets you get access to the Switch's internal code and let you rewrite it in such a way that you can exploit the Switch.
Yeah, then I could see that being an issue.
I think I read somewhere that it said that you could create your own apps using it for the Switch.
Which would be modding the system, which is a big, hefty faux pas.
Mm-hmm. It would be interesting to know whether this goes against something that's explicitly spelled out in some agreement that they have to sign in order to put games on the eShop.
Yeah. I mean, I would think I would almost think it'd have to be because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Nintendo took it down right away. I mean, right after that tweet went out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess my favorite part is, like, you know, he's totally to blame for this. He snuck this in there without, you know, anybody's knowledge, tweets about it saying, hey, look what I did, and then says that this is the problem with this trash can fire of a world. Like, really? Like, everybody thought the worst. Well, I mean, I don't think it's good. You totally like hurt your relationship, and nobody's gonna want to work with you ever again. You stuck that in. That's like dishonest. Not just like, that is dishonest. Yeah.
Well, dishonest or just a bad idea?
Yeah, probably a bad idea. Maybe not maybe it's not dishonest, but it's just not a good idea. So, I don't know. That was interesting. So if you do own that game,
congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how many people had actually heard of the game up until this came out.
Yeah, I know.
I hadn't, honestly.
I haven't either. I guess it was
Me
a
neither.
text-based game. I didn't know much about it. So, but there's that. So, I guess it got a lot of attention now. So,
Yeah, now everybody wants it.
yeah, exactly. Mike, do you have something news-wise?
I do have something news-wise. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
So speaking of Nintendo, they shadow dropped. I don't know if that's even the correct term, but I'm using it. They shadow dropped an update for Tetris 99,
Yeah.
which made me excited. But then you have to pay for it, which made me not as
yeah.
excited.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So there's an update for Tetris 99 that adds offline play. It has offline CPU mode, so you play against 98 other computer-controlled people. And it also adds a marathon mode where you can just play classic Tetris. The update is going to run you $9.99, which a lot of people aren't very thrilled about that. For me, $10 for Tetris, I can live with that. That to me, that's doable. But here's my concern with it: is that the marathon mode caps out at 150 lines.
Weird.
So it's not
Why would
really
they do
marathon.
Yeah, it's not. Nintendo did
So-
say that any other updates that come out, any other DLC, because this is called a DLC, any other like updates or DLC that comes out you'd get that for free if you bought that $9.99
Yeah,
DLC. So
yeah. I'm still considering because I really love the game. It's a really great game, and I think it's absolutely worth $9.99.
yeah, but you're already purchased. That's part of your purchase of the Nintendo Switch Online. That's
Yeah. I can
But
see
that-
this DLC appealing to somebody who didn't want the online service.
Yeah,
just
but
wanted
I don't
the
think you
game.
can.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that though. I don't know if that works that way.
Mhm.
I don't know if you
wouldn't
can. Well, I don't
You
know if
could-
it's on the eShop. I don't know if I think this game is. Or wait, it
Yeah.
is on the eShop, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is
Okay.
on the eShop, but you can't play it unless you have a Switch Online subscription.
Well, that's makes me wonder. Do you have to have an online subscription to be able to play the DLC version?
No,
For sure.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like if I'm, out on the road or something, or if I'm at the in-laws and I just don't want to deal with people, that
Classic.
just lock myself in the bathroom or something.
This is what you do every podcast. You
Yeah, exactly.
hear the Switch going on.
So, but honestly, I think, I would need to see what else they're offering in terms of their other downloadable content to justify the $9.99.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's terrible. I'm just not a fan. If it was like endless mode, I'd be more apt to purchase it. I just don't like the 150 line limit.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but
So,
isn't...
but
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, isn't endless mode just Tetris?
Tetris, yeah,
Just regular Tetris.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why why it had to max out at 150.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
So
Nintendo, I mean, kind of related to this though. Nintendo actually said that they are going to look at adding more games like, well, I don't want to say like Tetris, but more games that will appeal to people that are exclusives to the online service. So that's
Yep.
kind of cool.
yeah, that should be exciting to see what other kind of multiplayer only games that they are able to figure out.
Yeah.
Maybe a remake of what was that Metroid game on the DS?
Which one?
The one that when it first came out. Metroid.
Hunters or something.
Fusion?
It might be. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, Hunters. It was an online, or it was
Oh,
it
was
was
it?
a multiplayer
Oh.
game.
I was
think it
just
came-
thinking of
when you-
Federation.
When the original DS came out, it had a demo. It came with a demo of this
Mhm.
game.
Oh, I was thinking Game Boy Advance too. Sorry.
I think it was. That's all right.
Confusions on Game Boy Advance.
That's all right. I'm going off on a tangent here, but I will say this: I'm very excited. Next weekend for Tetris 99, they're having yet another event.
Yeah.
And everybody can earn this, not just the best of the best. So you earn points by participating in Tetris 99 matches. The better you place in the round, the more points you get. And if you earn 100 points, you unlock a Game Boy skin.
Yeah, what does it do for you?
It turned, from what I'm understanding, it turns the game black and pea green, and you can play the game like classic Game Boy Tetris.
Does it play the Tetris music?
It
I'm
does.
not sure. I have to look.
Yeah, I think it does. I think you can get the I think you can get the original Tetris music as well. I would like to see that as a theme for the Switch. I want to see some themes for the Switch, like my background, not just dark or light. I want to see like actual themes. But that's cool, I guess.
Okay, but here's the thing: what if you already have a Game Boy and it has Tetris?
Oh,
I already have a Game Boy and I already have Tetris.
Yeah.
well then.
But then I don't have to take it out.
Yeah, that's true.
I could leave it on its pedestal
That's true.
underneath the light
I see.
with my giant boulder.
You should be
blocking,
careful
so make
about
sure-
bleaching that out with that light, though.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, shouldn't the bleaching from the light counteract the yellowing of time? Oh no, the Game Boy had never had a problem with that. It was the Super Nintendo that had the yellowing problem.
I don't know that. Probably because most people are just leaving their Game Boys out on a shelf, but
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the top half of the Super Nintendo had a problem where the plastic would turn yellow over time.
Yeah, but you could bleach that out or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, there's like some kind of hydrogen peroxide mix you
Yeah.
can make that will help that.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, mine had that.
Yep.
Unless you were a proper gamer, holed up in your basement,
That's true.
and then it
That
was
is
not
true.
a risk.
There
That
you
is
go.
true. I am a proper gamer now. I actually have a little office under the stairs, and that's where I play games.
Your Harry Potter gaming office.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to convince the kids to give up their playroom, which is upstairs in this really nice big room, and they could
Daddy
have this
needs a
instead.
playroom too.
Yeah, exactly. And they said, no, Dad, we don't want that. I'm like, but it has its own bathroom. That's kind of cool, right? And they're like, no. It's like, okay. So.
Is that where you stream from, under the stairs?
Yeah.
Tough
Nice.
crowd.
Yeah. And that does have its own bathroom. That's kind of neat.
That's
So-
yeah.
You don't need a bathroom. You just
It's
need
not-
a cup, apparently.
Yeah, I was about to
That's
say it's
right,
not a
that's
cup,
right.
is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a cup. Blue, do you have
But, yeah.
anything?
That's
Oh,
my
sorry,
news.
Mike, were you going to say something else?
No, I was just saying that's my news.
Oh, okay. Blue, do you have anything?
I have very serious news.
Oh.
It comes from Kotaku. U.S. Senator introduces bill to ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions.
Yeah.
So this comes from Senator Josh Hawley, who is the Republican of Missouri.
Yes.
Yes. And he has announced a bill that would ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in, quote, games played by minors, which is a broad label. And then it will also include games whose developers knowingly allow minor players to engage in microtransactions. So this bill is called the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Nice to see they're focusing on the real problems.
Yeah. So I invited Senator Hawley onto our show. I sent him an email saying I would, give you a platform where you can talk about this, but I have not heard back from Senator Hawley yet. So, shocking.
And so, yeah, it's interesting because it's not banning them altogether. It's just focused around minors.
Yeah. So, did you see any of the... So, I was really shocked, actually, by some of the response that I seen about this. Like, a lot of people are like, well, if the gaming industry can't do it, bring on the legislation. It's like, really?
Yeah, but it's so vague.
Yeah, exactly.
Games played by minors. Okay. That could be like literally everything.
Yeah. Well, he specifically calls out Candy Crush in his...
Yeah.
What is this, 2012?
Wow. I mean...
Because Candy Crush had a $150 Luscious bundle
Yes.
that you could buy, which that's an insane amount of money to spend on Candy Crush, but
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess I question, is it minors that are buying the $150 Luscious package?
it's probably like one kid did it,
Yes.
and then their parents freaked out.
Or the parents did it and blamed it on the kids.
That's happened to me. That's
Like your
That
spouse.
wasn't a joke. I'm not even joking.
Your
Well,
spouse
no.
sees the bill and you're like,
Yes.
it wasn't me, it was the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. No. And when I was this was right after I lost my job and I
Oh.
finally got a new one.
I'm sorry.
And that's okay, man. It was in the past, man. And so I was in training. I was in this classroom, and all of a sudden I get a text from my wife, all caps. So you know it's serious when it's all caps.
Uh-oh.
Why did you just spend $75 on the Microsoft Store? And I'm like, I'm at work. I didn't spend any money. So apparently my son was playing Minecraft on the 360
oh.
and just started spamming the A button.
Oh.
Oh no.
And that's the day I learned to password protect my account.
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
Luckily-
that's the thing. Like most of these games are password protected, right?
Well, the Entertainment Software Association, which is the video game industry lobbyist group, they responded to the bill by saying that other countries that have looked into it, such as Ireland and Germany and Australia, have determined that loot boxes don't count as gambling. And so they're saying that same precedent should be applied here. But they're also saying that these games already include parental controls and
Yeah.
that people are just simply not using them.
Yeah.
That I'll agree with. I'm not a fan of loot boxes in general. I just don't like them. But this is a real slippery slope. I mean, because I've always said like loot boxes. I mean, if you're talking about that, then aren't you technically saying the same thing about like baseball cards? Because those
Yeah.
are essentially like physical loot boxes. Because you
Yeah.
have the opportunity to get something you've already got or something you don't even want
Yeah.
for
That's
the
true.
very rare card.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that strikes me with this, and I also invited a representative from the ESA to be on our show as well. I haven't heard back from them either. But the thing that shocks me about this, like I kind of expect this to be like from like the Democrats, right? But this is coming from Republicans, and isn't their whole stance is get big business or get big government out of business? Let the industry regulate itself.
Sweetie. No. Not even
Isn't
a little
that-
bit.
No, that's their plan. Do you not? I mean, do you agree that that's what they say? I'm not saying that's what they practice.
Well,
But don't you
okay. It probably is what they say, but also they hate video games. Video games
Well,
don't
that's true.
count as
That's
real
true.
business.
That's true. That's true. That's fake business.
It's fake business. It's nonsense business.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to be like, dealing with oil and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know,
there's no future
man
in art,
business.
Roger.
That's true. You're right. You're right. Although Candy Crush would prove you different. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, when I saw that, I think I texted you all right away and said, I'm gonna write to them and see if they want to come on our show. Yeah, haven't heard back yet. So I'm not holding my breath either. But if you are listening, I did provide our link to our show. So if you are listening, you are welcome to come on our show and talk about why you think this is a good idea, Senator Hawley. We'd love to have you on the show. Christian, do you have anything?
Sure, I can balance out the dismal Nintendo news and loot box
We are a
news with-
serious journalistic platform here.
That's right.
Totally.
Something.
That's right. Better not bring up
Absolutely.
any of your what's your favorite pickle journalism. Your pickle journalism, Christian.
Yeah, we really bring up the hard-hitting topics here at the GamerHeads podcast. So Sony did their second
Oh yeah.
state of play presentation thing, which is basically just a short Nintendo Direct, except Sony's running it this time. So, you got that going for you. You got the slide transitions where they give you a little sneak peek at what's coming before it happens. Like, it's literally a Nintendo Direct, okay? It's just a lot shorter.
Yeah.
And they announced a number of things. They announced a Predator game. Seems like it'll be okay. Monster Hunter DLC. They announced they gave another trailer for the Medieval remake, which I am very optimistically curious about as someone who played Medieval on PS1 demo discs. But the big star of the show was the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer, because they are actually really making it, guys. We swear, It's actually happening, despite like 10 years of teases and like 3 years of totally where it's in development now. And then like the past 2 years, they've been like, don't ask us about it. We had to give it to another studio. Stop asking, please. And I am not very optimistic about the new Final Fantasy VII game.
Really?
And it's sad because Final Fantasy VII was my first one. It was the first one I played through, and so I hold it very near and dear to my heart. And I was, swept up in all the Final Fantasy VII remake clamor at the time because I was like, dude, Final Fantasy VII, but with better graphics? Yes, please, because the characters are just disgusting polygons, and the backgrounds are like muddled, hand-drawn messes. And that game is so hard to make out, and it does not hold up well by today's standards. So I feel like all the fans were clamoring for the same game with modern assets. And what we're getting is an action RPG that's broken up into episodes.
Yeah, but it has modern assets, though, Christian.
It does, but it's a different game because it's an action RPG. And that just boggles my mind. And they're breaking an action RPG up into episodes. How do you do that? I want them to prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong, Square Enix. But how do you make an action RPG episodic? Because you want to sit there and play it, get invested in the story, develop your character. You want to grind so that you can get better materials and better equipment so that you can go on and move forward. How are they going to make grinding a thing if you can only play like 1/5 of the game right now? It's just, it's confusing.
Yeah, I guess that does worry me some. I was all excited about this, but now that you make a compelling argument of why I shouldn't be excited for this, actually.
So they're trying to Final Fantasy 15 it?
Yeah.
I guess so. I mean, they're like Final Fantasy 15ing it, but they're being upfront about the fact that this game is going to come out over the course of 3 years, which they weren't really with 15. But yeah, it looks a lot like Final Fantasy 15 action RPG thing. And I mean, that's not Final Fantasy 7, but it looks like Final Fantasy 7. So I guess the visuals are nice. So good job.
Would you be able to carry your character progression forward on these different
They haven't
episodes?
said a peep about how that'll work, I don't think. I mean, maybe they'll be entirely isolated experiences. I think there was some interview somewhere where they were like, yeah, we want each episode to feel like its own fully fledged game. And
That's
then
weird.
they came out right after these trailers, right after this last trailer, Square Enix was like coming out and like emphasizing, this is an episodic thing, people, okay? We just want to set the expectation there. And that makes me feel like I should set my expectations very low.
And then they're going to come out and say, we have loot boxes and microtransactions too.
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, not for minors.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Game looks really pretty, though.
It does look pretty. That's true. I mean, yeah, I was like blown away at like how beautiful the game looks, but boy, I mean, you make some good points there, Christian. Like that was my first Final Fantasy I've ever beat too. So that's near and dear to my heart as well, and I am a little worried about it now.
Uh-oh.
I was too focused on Predator.
Oh,
Predator?
Yeah, it's being made by Ilphonic. You guys, Ilphonic.
Yeah.
They made.
What should I know? Yeah, I was gonna say, what should I know Ilphonic for?
They make Friday the 13th.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
in spite of all its kind of jankiness, is a really fun game to play.
So is it going to be the same thing where one's a predator and everybody else is like in the army or what? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's exactly what it is. Yep.
But you're going to have guns. How are they going to make that work?
Yeah.
He's the predator.
I guess so.
You know
is this just going to be Evolve, but there's only one monster?
Essentially,
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. Well, you know that Into the Wild, was it Wildlands? The
Ghost Recon Wildlands, they had a Predator DLC in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was kind of cool. And that just kind of snuck in there. People were like, wait, what? What is this? There's a Predator around here? It was cool. Yeah, that actually, the sequel to that game is coming out too, isn't it? I saw that.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it goes back to the discussion we had about remakes a while back. And should we really be excited about remakes? I don't know. Does anyone have anything else?
No.
No.
Okay. So then let's go on to the listener feedback. And listeners, if you want to give us feedback, you can do so. Christian, how can they send us an email?
info@gamerheadspodcast.com.
And how can they send us a tweet?
@GamerHeadsPC.
And what if they want to go to our Facebook page?
Facebook.com/GamerHeadsPodcast.
And what if they want to go to our website?
GamerHeadsPodcast.com.
Nicely
A
done.
little bit hesitation.
Yeah.
Finally got it.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess it up. Blue made me self-conscious about my perfect record.
No,
She got
my
in your
bad.
head. Yeah.
My bad.
That's okay, Blue. Now the pressure's on. I can't screw it up.
Last week we asked if a 7 out of 10 is a bad score and why some people might think that. And here is what you all had to say. So I'll let Mike, do you want to take the first one there?
Sure thing. This comes from Grunkledor. And they say it depends on what you consider good. I think a 6 or 7 means the game is meh, and thus I should check it out eventually. Probably. Eventually. But I don't gotta run out to the store and get it right meow.
Oh. Yeah. Christian, you want to take the next one?
Sure. @3Wojies said on Twitter, depends on price or my love of franchise, etc.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I mean, I feel like there's plenty of 9 out of 10s that people are like, oh, awesome. I'll get that one. It's $20.
Resident Evil 2.
There you go.
That's what I'm doing.
So I'm in the notes there, Blue. I might have screwed up the next one, but do you want to take the next one there? I think I
sure.
deleted something. I deleted the word I.
Oh, okay. This is from Super Good Pixel, and they said, I tend to ignore most reviews since a lot of games I like have gotten bad reviews. So unless it's getting 2s or 3s, a 7 could be a 10 for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I think, like, Super Good Pixel and 3Wojies are kind of hitting on something we didn't discuss last week, but if it's a franchise you love or a genre you love, then the reviews matter a lot less.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like, no amount of 10 out of 10 scores is going to get me to play a Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But I was going to get the Kingdom Hearts game no matter what it scored.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about this too when like reviewing games and how, people that really love a series and they're then reviewing it or love a genre and they're reviewing it are going to probably give it better scores than somebody that doesn't love the genre. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of like we talked about this last week, the game Our World Has Ended. That's just not my style of game. Maybe if you really like that Japanese humor, that anime humor, and that trope that you guys were talking about, and visual novels, that might be something you enjoy. But that's not for me. So I don't know. I try to be impartial for sure, but there does come to some aspect of my background when I come to reviewing things, and I can't help it. That's just who I am, right? Like, I'm going to bring my own personality into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll take the next one here. And this one's from @SethTrav, and it says, it all depends on why. Is the story good, but it's unplayable? Are the characters trash? How glitchy is it overall? Some of those things would fall on with Days Gone. Spent maybe 12 hours with it. There's things I definitely like and things I don't. Pretty, but the characters... Is that it?
And then he had a little shrugging emoji.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's also a good point, too. Like, I think there's some games that, like, might look really, really pretty, but, man, they're terrible, right? Like, they're just not playable. Or some games that are really, really playable, but... or maybe the characters are really, really good, but man, it's so glitchy. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that has a lot to do with it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, do you want to take the last one?
Sure. This comes from Max and Chachi. And they say, I think it's because of what the numbers mean. Average in entertainment is meh. 5 out of 10 is a mediocre experience. Not really good, not really bad. 7 out of 10 is the starting point for a solidly good game. So it's sort of where people start to look for if a game is worth getting. I'll agree with that.
I really like this idea.
Yeah, that's a very good point. 7 out of 10 is a good starting point for a solid game.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a 5 or a 6, it's playable but probably not enjoyable as much. But 7 out of 10 is when you really start looking towards a purchase. So I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks everybody for giving us feedback. We had a lot of feedback on that topic, by the way. Like a lot.
People have a lot of strong feelings about it for some reason.
Yeah. There were some comments of like, I wouldn't even read a review. Why even pay attention to the reviews? And Blue was like, should I even stop writing the review I'm writing tonight?
No,
like,
it's funny.
Foot and mouth.
I like to do that sometimes when people start telling me about how useless game reviewers are, and I'm like, so I should just like throw myself off a cliff or what? And then they're like, oh no, not you. I mean the others. Like, everyone else. Everyone else. I'm like, okay.
They went the other 3 people on GamerHeads, not you, Blue.
And Roger, I don't care what you say. Out of This World is a great game.
Okay. Well, if you like to sit there and not do any gameplay for at least an hour, be my guest, dude. Be my guest. And if you find that humor to be funny, that 13-year-old humor to be funny, then, by all means, spend the $60.
He's talking about Out of This World.
I'm talking about
Out of This World. Oh, not Our World.
Not
Is
Our World
Out of This
Ended.
World? I'm sorry. Out of This World? That game is bad. Mike, I'm sorry. That game is not good. It's not even. It's not good, Mike.
It's a solid 9, man.
It's not.
Just admit it.
No, I'll admit that I don't like the game. That's what I'll admit. I'll admit that I can watch you play it, and I'll have enough. I'll live vicariously through you. How's that, Mike?
All right, I'll agree on that.
Okay.
You
do a good job with it. I enjoy your stream and your commentary, so that adds to the game that I don't like, but it makes it better.
It's a cinematic platformer. It paved the way for Abe's Odyssey.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what you got?
I don't have anything.
All right, me neither.
All right, so then let's move on to games that we're currently playing. And Blue, do you want to start us off? What games are you currently playing?
So I was mostly playing Cook Serve Delicious because
What?
I need help. Like I seriously need an intervention.
Oh, boy.
But the good news is I finally got past that first level in the Chinese restaurant.
Oh.
It's only the first level though. There's like 10 more.
No. Jeez.
And then
Wow.
now where I'm stuck is I went to the hamburger restaurant. And the thing that the game does is you've got a certain patience level for every customer that comes in, how long they're willing to wait. And then the more you advance in the game, the less the patience level gets.
Oh, no.
And you can kind of mitigate that a little bit by serving side dishes, because every side dish you have on your menu adds I think like 13 seconds maybe to their patience level. But when you get to the final level of the restaurants, they take away your side dishes. So it's just like you open for the day, like 6 people walk in, they want their burgers right now, and they all want something different on them. Every order is customized, and it's insanity. I don't understand how it's even possible.
Wow.
But it's not stopping me from trying.
I added that game to my wish list. I almost hit the buy button, and I was like, I'm a little intimidated by this game.
Yeah, I know. It's elite level challenge, I feel like.
How did you get past that Chinese level? Did you just like sit down, buckle in, and get it done?
Just kind of a little bit. The thing is I forced myself to slow down, which seems counterproductive. But because in order to get, like if you just want to beat the levels, that's one thing. But if you need the gold medal, which I need the gold medal, you have to get everything absolutely perfect. And so I just had to slow down and just trust that the people weren't going to get angry and leave. And then that's how I eventually did it.
But that's not the case with the burgers, huh?
It's not working with the burgers. They're
Oh,
so
no.
angry.
Man,
I can't even
Christian-
imagine what the last level of the Chinese restaurant is going to be. It's just it's gonna be Armageddon. I don't know.
Is Christian being a bad influence on you with the whole have to get the gold medal?
No.
Good.
No, I would, because I told you before, these games are like my jam. I love these
Oh, yeah.
types of games
Yeah.
back when, when they were on PC all the time. So,
Yeah, that's funny. Well, because like I'll bring up every once in a while, like, oh man, Christian, I can't believe how many platinum trophies you have, and then he'll say, "Don't fall in the same trap. It's terrible. Like, don't. It'll break you. You will like be broken forever. Don't do it." And I'm like, okay.
As he slowly backs out of the room.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry. What I would like to see, though, I don't know if Christian likes these types of games, but I would like to see how well you do on them. Since you're like our standard of what's what is possible if you have the time and the skill.
I feel like my mom would probably be amazing at those types of games because that's like all my mom does is play iPad games. So I think she could probably give that game a run for its money.
Huh.
If anyone.
That's crazy. That's so Blue. You know that this is a 2-player game. You could play co-op.
Just cheating.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How do you do that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You'd have to do that with controllers. I don't feel
Yeah,
like that'd be an
You'd have
advantage.
to. Yeah, you're right. You have to. I mean, I saw it because it was like play couch co-op, and I'm like, oh, my wife and I could play. But you're right. Like, it would be really hard to do with one touchpad. Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could.
No, I don't think so. You'd just be like, each of you would be pulling it over towards your own side. And
Yeah. And then
break
that's
it.
how the switch gets broken. Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
exactly.
and that's how the switch gets broken.
Christian, I mean, your parents are gamers, though, aren't they?
My dad has played one video game, beginning to end, and that was Myst. And so he'll like to say, you know what, son, I solved Myst back in the day. And I'll say, good job, Dad. And I'll give him a pat on the back, and I'll send him on his chipper way.
Have you ever beaten Myst, though, Christian?
I have, yes. In order to one-up my dad, I was like, all right, Dad, it's time. And
have you ever
he would
beaten Riven?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Have you
I've done
played
Riven 2. I stopped at Exile. That's
Oh,
that's
okay.
one I didn't play, which was the third one, I think.
Do you know that you
played
could beat
Return to
Myst?
Zork?
What?
Return to
Zork?
Zork.
Return to
I have
Zork?
not. I have not.
No?
I've played some Zork because it was in Black Ops 1, but that's about it.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you know that you can beat Myst right away in the beginning?
Really?
Yeah, there's like a way that if you know like the ending, I forget what it is, but like it takes you like 5 minutes to beat it.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's
Isn't
for
that
those people
adorable?
who can't hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I only figured it after I beat the game, but there is a way that you can beat the game within like 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I could remember to do it now, but I remember back when I was in college, I beat it in like 5 minutes.
The game The Witness is very evocative of Myst.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I've kind of like been poking my dad, like, hey, Dad, I played this game and it's kind of like Myst. My dad was like, oh, maybe if they bring it to the iPads, I'll play it.
Oh boy.
And they did bring it to iPad,
Oh,
but
hey.
I don't know if it's going to be his thing because you're just solving mazes the whole time, and
Uh,
I don't know if that'll be his speed.
yeah, but it amazes me that you told me how your parents like bought a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4, and then they were like talking to you about buying a PSVR, right?
Yeah, they got a PS4.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did they
But
ever use
they
it?
like Wii Sports like every other human on the planet.
Yeah.
So they played the crap out of some Wii Sports.
Do they play the PSVR at all?
They had a fun fling with it for the first week, and then
Okay.
it just kind of slowed down after
Okay.
that.
But you have brothers and sisters, right? That
I
at
do,
home yet?
yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Blue? Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent there.
No, this is important stuff.
Yeah.
I also played DuckTales 2.
Oh, fun.
Ah.
Yeah, I'd never played it before, and if you wanted to get the NES cartridge, they're super rare, from what I
Oh.
understand.
Yep.
So, I realized that the Disney Afternoon Collection is a thing on PS4. I didn't know that it was, but apparently it was. So I bought that, and then the first one that I played was DuckTales 2. So it's similar to the first one, where you have to go around the different locations. You choose them on the map, and you can do them in the order that you like. And then you go do the little platforming section. But this one's a little bit different because you get upgrades And so you can't just play through the one level the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to go get an upgrade from a different level and then come back and finish it all the way. So there's backtracking involved in all the levels. But it's fun. So I like that there's some strategy involved. But one of the levels is a shipwreck in the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh.
And it involves this section where you have to jump on hooks, where you hang like from your cane from the hooks and you jump across the hooks. And then while you're doing that, there's these pelicans that come in. As soon as they're over you, they drop something. I don't know, it's a rock or something that hurts you. And they're like impossible to avoid. And it knocks you back. So the pelicans can die in a fire. I'm just saying.
Blue, have you ever played DuckTales Quest for Gold on a PC?
Nope.
Oh, has anyone ever played that game?
I've never heard of it.
Me neither.
No, I've
Oh,
never
that
heard of
is if you ever get a chance to play that game, that is probably the best DuckTales game
I don't
ever.
see how that's possible.
No, it's really
better
good.
than the NES one?
That's
It
not
is-
possible.
It is. It's really no. You guys have to play. You guys have to play it. I think I don't know how you can get a hold of it now because there's no way it's going to run on a computer. But it's really, really, really good. It was no. You have to play it, listeners. If anybody's played that game, like, please let me know because it's really good. It's really good. I really liked it. I mean, like it's you versus that Flintheart
Glumgold.
Yes, that guy, and yeah, that guy, and you compete to see who can get the most treasure. So you go to all these different like landmarks, and some of them are like a lot of gold, but they're really hard levels, and some of them are like little gold, but they're easy, and you have to like get as much gold as you can before that other guy gets it, whatever his name is.
Wow, I can tell you're a really big fan of this game.
Yeah.
It's just,
I played it like when I was in like in 8th grade, and I haven't played it since. Yeah, well, because I can't get it to run on my computer. I want to find it again.
it's a Sierra Online game.
Oh, really?
And made
Ooh.
in collaboration with Incredible Technologies, who are the developers of Golden Tee.
Oh,
Whoa.
there we go. Yeah, no, it's a good game. I have not played Turtles 2. I have not played DuckTales 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the only way you can play it is like this, or if you have it on an emulator.
yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
Cool. Anything else, Blue?
Nope.
Christian, what have you been playing?
So I figured I could give you all a progress update on Cuphead. The last time I
Yeah.
checked in with you guys,
Oh.
I finished it through on the Switch, and then I started playing through all of the expert difficulty bosses.
Are you
So
still
I
doing
finished-
that with a Joy-Con?
Yes.
That's insane.
And I don't like it, but I'm putting up with it because it makes it harder in a way that I have kind of come to like. And I'm sad to admit that, but yeah, because it's hard. Because okay, so if I've got a big old fat controller in my hands, I can parry while my jump animation's going up. Whereas with the Joy-Cons, I can't tap that little button fast enough to do the little pink parry to parry off of a pink thing while I'm just beginning my jump. I can't do that on a Joy-Con, so I have to like wind up the jump in order to get on one of those things. And so I'm like handicapped on top of it all, but. I'm playing Cuphead way more than I anticipated playing it the second time through. And my Switch says I've put over 15 hours into it so far, and it barely even feels like that at all. I'm just loving it so much.
How?
Because after I... Go ahead, Blue.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask, how long did it take you to beat it just once?
The first time, maybe like 8 hours, I'd say. Maybe like 6 to 8.
I wonder
Somewhere around there.
if that's
Sounds about right.
typical.
Yeah, probably. I'd assume so. But I went back to the beginning because I was like, man, I'm sad that's over again. I just want this to last longer. And then I saw that there were the expert difficulties on all the bosses. So I've been going through and doing those, and I love how hard it is. I love it. I need more of it. I can just barely make it through every boss fight. It's so satisfying to finally do it because I feel like I'm meaningfully accomplishing something, and I can put it behind me after I'm done with it. Feels great. So there's the 3 areas in the finale, like I mentioned. I finished the first 2 areas, which is like 10 bosses combined, and then I'm on the 3rd area now, and I finished 5 of those 7 bosses. So I've only got like 3 or 4 bosses left, and it's kind of sad because I don't want it to be over, but I'm having a blast. Cuphead's great.
So what I'm taking away from this is if this is Christian's new standard of masochistic enjoyment,
Yeah.
Cuphead bosses on expert with the Joy-Con handicap,
Yeah.
then there's no way that Kingdom Hearts 3 critical mode is going to make you happy.
Ooh.
There's no way.
Agreed.
So, beautiful segue.
Beautiful segue. You're welcome.
I was going to mention, speaking of difficulty, I decided to pop in Kingdom Hearts 3 again and try out the critical difficulty that they added, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I think it was. It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
It might as well have fixed Kingdom Hearts 3 as far as I'm concerned. All of the gameplay issues that I might have had with it. It's wonderful, fantastic. I have never been so enthused to die in a video game in my life. I loved it. The first main big baddie guy in the Hercules world in Olympus freaking decimated me. And it felt great because I was like, heck yeah, I want you to murder me. So he did. And critical mode adds some fantastic features that should have been in the main game. So you've got an ability that you can equip that turns off attraction flows. Attraction flows are the things where you...
Annoying,
Yeah, go ahead, Blue.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
What's
I was
that?
agreeing with you. I was saying,
Yes.
yeah, that would be nice.
Totally, yes. You can turn on this ability. Attraction flows go away. Those are the attraction attack ability things that broke the tone, broke the pacing, and kind of broke the game sometimes. You can turn those completely off. Wonderful. And it takes you a much longer time to build up your finishing moves that show up on triangle. It takes you a much longer time to build up those. Nice. Very nice touch. Helps the pacing significantly. And it makes the game a lot more difficult as a result because you actually have to do and engage in the main combat instead of just spamming triangle all the time. Awesome. And also, on top of that, they give you another ability that's like a critical counter or something like that. So if you counter something, if you block right as the attack connects, you can immediately retaliate and do more damage that way. And so you feel like this powerful glass cannon that can just completely decimate things if you time everything right and if you get your moves down. But if you screw up a couple too many times, 2 or 3 times in a single fight, you're dead. I love that. That is what I loved about Kingdom Hearts 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3 nailed it with this new combat system. Loving it.
I wonder if they had all of this stuff already in the works, or if they listened to everybody whining about how Kingdom Hearts 3 wasn't Kingdom Hearts 2, and so they said, okay, we'll patch it and make it like Kingdom Hearts 2.
Good question. I know that at one point in time, so I like watching YouTube videos of these crazy nerd people who do nothing but play Kingdom Hearts 3 5 times after it's been out for a week. And apparently the game already had critical in its data. And so what people were doing was that they were hacking into the game and turning on the critical mode from themselves and playing through critical mode before it came out. But I think these abilities that they added into it might have been what they added with the patch. And it makes it a lot better. I love it.
Yay!
Do you think
that makes me happy?
Do you think the scores would have been higher if it were released with this mode first?
That's hard. I want to say for the average reviewer, probably not, because a lot of reviewers didn't really mention it all that much, and the people who were, perturbed by it were the people who had played through all the previous Kingdom Hearts games and played through the previous games on the hardest difficulty over and over again, and were looking for a similar challenge. So it might have boosted a couple scores up a little bit, but I don't think it would have, made a huge impact. It would have impacted my review score, though, I could tell you that much, because it's fantastic.
Yeah, interesting.
Good stuff.
Cool. Anything else?
I played the first 2 days of Valhalla Cyberpunk Bartender Action, and I believe that's a fifth the way through the game. I think I heard somewhere that the game is 10 days long. And so far, I'm kind of lukewarm on it. I'm not loving it. I'm not hating it. I think it's fine so far. I asked you if there's like a narrative through line, and I haven't quite gotten a narrative through line out of it yet. It's very slice of life because you're a bartender lady, and then you go to the bar, and then you meet people, and then the people talk about their lives, and then they leave. A new person comes, they talk about their life and how that impacts their, view of the world, and then they leave. And there are like recurring characters along the way, but like there's no overarching plot. Like you're not trying to achieve any goal. You're just this girl living her life as a bartender.
Well, I mean, but you have that. So right in the beginning, you have that breaking the fourth wall moment, right?
Yes.
And I think there's something with that in the game because on the TV, that character is on there every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And then there's the augmented eye, and there's some ties to that with some of the characters, right? So I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the newspaper, and then you meet people who work at the newspaper.
Yeah, but I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess it's too hard to tell from. I mean, because I got done with day 1, so I'm on a day 2 now. It's too hard for me to tell what. It feels like there should be something there, but it's hard for me to tell if there is something there yet.
Yeah. And the mechanics, you mix these people drinks, the drink mixing system's very rudimentary, so it's really easy to wrap your head around. And people will say, hey, I want this drink. You open up a recipe book, and then you find the drink, and then the drink says, mix this many of these. So you mix that many of those, and then you give it to them. And if you screw it up, you can't even serve it to them, which is interesting.
So you can change the alcohol level.
You can, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll just put more alcohol in everything because I want to hear more interesting stuff. I don't know. I mean, they say, give me this. I give them that, and then they talk. And then the next person comes along, and they're like, hey, give me one of these and make it big. So I double the ingredients, and I give it to them. I feel like
the dialogue does change, though.
What's that?
The dialogue does change based on the drinks you give them, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
No, go ahead, though. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I like the writing a lot. The writing's very high quality. It feels very true to life. There's message boards you can read on your phone that are amazing. One of them has a Metal Gear Solid reference that I really appreciated. Yeah. And I feel like the reason everybody loves this game is like there's a reason why that I haven't gotten to yet. I feel like the narrative is going to get to some very interesting places. Just haven't gotten there yet in the first act.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying my time with it so far.
That's good, Roger.
I feel like I have to defend my gameplay of it or something.
Not at all.
No. I hear what you say. I don't. I mean, I think that. I mean, it's a visual novel for sure, right? Like there's gameplay aspects, but it's not. At least I'm not just sitting there clicking the button for an hour, going through a bunch of text. There's some difference, and the writing is really good, and it's dark and it's gritty, right? I mean, it's sleazy. I mean, sleazy as in like you can feel like the grittiness of that city. I guess that's kind of, you know what I mean. Like it just feels like real people. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, there's fun little world building bits that are nice, like robot people. Like there's these people that walk around that are apparently robots, but they're very hard to distinguish from people, so that's kind of cool. And it's not like typical like what's it called Blade Runner synth stuff. It's not that silly, hokey robots are people too thing, analog for racism. None of that yet, so very well handled on that front.
Cool. Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Mike, what have you been playing?
Okay, so I've been playing some more Yoshi's Crafted World.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and I honestly don't remember if I mentioned this last time, but one of the things that I really love about the game are the surprise appearances by some Nintendo enemies, or some Super Mario enemies. Because usually with the Yoshi games, they are
Shy Guys?
They're Shy Guys, and more Shy Guys. And then... just to make sure, we'll throw some more Shy Guys in there. But this one, I've seen some of the enemies from Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo. I've seen some Bullet Bills. They've showed up. I was like, hey, I remember that guy. So I don't know. I'm really still enjoying Yoshi's Crafted World, and I am loving the whole scavenger hunt aspect of it. just like throwing these eggs at just what would just be normally just random background items in hopes that there's like a red coin behind it or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
the thing about Yoshi's Crafted World, though, that's, I don't know, probably it's not a big deal, but the efficiency-loving person in me is objecting to it, because you go through and you, like you said, you're just throwing eggs at stuff, knowing that some of it's going to be valuable. And then, but if he didn't give you the mission yet to go find the souvenirs for him, it won't count. So, like, if you go and he says, I want 5 hot air balloons, and you're like, well, I already found 3, so I should be mostly done. No, you have to get them again.
Yeah.
That's kind of crappy.
Yeah, I feel like that's the worst aspect of it, is that kind of like flimsy post game where you're just supposed to go through the same levels again and again and again, and just stare at the background and try and pick out what the heck it is he wants you to find. That's not the best.
Yeah,
but just finding the flowers, that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it is fun, but it's like by the time you've gone back to the level for like the 5th time, and then it's like, okay, you know, do I really have to do this? But
don't do it, Blue. You don't have to do it.
I do. It's there. If
but
you don't find everything, you don't get the flower by the name of the level.
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't notice that?
If you don't get the souvenirs, you don't get the flower by the name of the level?
No, you have, or maybe the souvenirs don't matter.
They don't matter.
For the flower.
They don't matter, Blue.
Okay.
You just have to get all the flowers, Blue, and everything's going to be okay.
But you're leaving it undone.
That's okay. Just worry about the flowers. The game cares about the flowers a lot more.
This does not sound like... Who took our Christian away? This does not sound like Christian at all.
Hey, if Nintendo had achievements, I would be riding you hard about this, Blue, but it's okay. The game only makes you get the flowers.
There's no trophies. I see.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow.
And you can. I think you could get to the final boss and get every flower in the game without any of the souvenirs. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain that's the case, because I did all the post game. I did all the post game level stuff without any of the souvenirs. And there's only one boss I didn't fight yet, and I think I just had to do all the rest of the flowers for it.
Mike, what I'm hearing is, don't waste your time on this game. Why are you even playing this game?
Sorry, Mike, we took over your discussion.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. Oops.
I'm enjoying this, actually, so go ahead.
Don't get the souvenirs, Mike. They're a trap.
Don't listen to Christian.
It's like a devil and an angel on my shoulder.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Pulling me in each direction. So I also played some more Spider-Man on the PS4, continuing with that. I played some more of that game Glaive Brickbreaker on the Switch.
Yeah. Good music?
Good music, worth the 99 cents. So I also started playing Shakedown Hawaii, which was generously provided to us for review, and I streamed it on twitch.tv/GamerHeads podcast, and I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of humor. It's very well written. It's definitely a very 80s, which is right up my alley. It's old school Grand Theft Auto type gameplay, and when I say old school, I mean GTA's 1 and 2. It's what else? There's a lot of really great references to video game culture and older video games. There's one part where they really get a good dig in at Microsoft. But I won't repeat it because it's just fun to just discover it on your own. But it's a fun game. It's a real fun game. I'm really enjoying that.
Have you played Retro City Rampage at all, Mike?
Just briefly. I didn't play it. I didn't. Yeah, I know it's very similar to that. It's by the same. It's like a pseudo sequel to that. But yeah, it's very similar to that.
Yeah, I gotcha. I played through Retro City Rampage back in the day on my Vita, and I loved it, despite the fact that I didn't understand any of the 80s references, and that game is basically just one giant 80s reference all the way up to like the game's cover art, which has you like grabbing the doctor from Back to the Future in a DeLorean or something. It's like, okay.
Or something.
Or something. I don't know, man. I've only seen that movie once. So I like a lot of my enjoyment of that game was not from the 80s references, but was from the fact that it was like Grand Theft Auto if it was like a Super Nintendo or NES game, and I love that.
Yeah.
And that's back?
Yeah,
and better than ever?
Well,
It's better. It's more video game references than it is 80s references.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. There's not like, because I was watching Mike stream it, and I'm like, oh, look for a Turtles van or look for a DeLorean, and I don't know if we saw any of those.
Oh, this isn't the video kid, Roger.
Yeah, that's true. Or River City Rampage, for that matter.
Yeah.
Because you can steal the Turtle van and you can steal the DeLorean in River City, and I think like even the A-Team van, I think you can in River City Rampage.
Retro City Rampage?
Retro City Rampage, sorry. But yeah, I mean, would you agree, Mike? Like it's not. I mean, it's not. Well, it's not even takes place in the 80s, right? It takes place.
No, it
now,
takes place.
right?
It takes place. Yeah, it takes place now. But it's again, there's a ton of self-referential humor.
Yeah.
They do. There's a whole thing they do about loot boxes, and
Nice.
it's really well written.
Is there like an underlying gameplay system where you have to like take over properties or like manage them or something? Ooh,
absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, there's a ton of that, and I'm trying to. There was something I really wanted to say, but now it escapes me. But again, it's just a. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's wacky, and I don't get a whole lot of games like that. A lot of games take themselves too seriously. This is just a fun game where you're just just messing around and just setting
Blowing
stuff on fire.
up, man.
Yeah.
But
one of the weapons is a hairdryer, so there's that. It's a modded hairdryer that.
Heck yeah!
So.
And we got to hear your Featherbottom voice too. That was great.
Oh yeah, my Featherbottom impression. That's right. Yeah. So aside from Shakedown Hawaii, the only other game I played is I popped Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild back in to try it out with the Labo VR.
Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, I have a strong stomach.
Oh no.
I equate it to growing up on horror movies, and I can usually handle things pretty well before I start to feel ill. One of the things I pride myself on. It took me about 3 minutes of playing Zelda Breath of the Wild in VR before I made a beeline to the bathroom.
Ooh!
Seriously? Did you throw up?
No, I didn't throw up, but I was
okay.
I was having a conversation, with the porcelain therapist.
Oh.
But I didn't throw up, but I'm like, okay, I'm not playing this. Like it
broke
was
Iron Mike.
Yeah.
That's intimidating, honestly.
Yeah. It worked. I mean, it definitely looked like I was playing Zelda in 3D. I mean, it didn't look like, full on, virtual reality, but that's not the point of it. It definitely, it looked nice. It was blurry and everything because, you're doubling up that image. But I could not handle it. I absolutely could not handle it.
What I want to know is,
that's okay.
how many people are giving these to their kids, and then their kids are playing 3D, and then it just like catches up with them all at once, and then suddenly it's chunks all over the living room. You know how kids are.
Yeah.
Well, you can't play it. Nintendo says, do not play this if you're under the age of 7.
I don't think that's gonna matter.
I'm a little bit over the age of 7, and I still would recommend playing it.
Yeah, I heard the same thing from a lot of people, Mike. That that just made them want to throw up their cookies. So I did not try it, and I don't think I want to because I get motion sickness really bad. So if Ironside's Mike can't do it, I don't think I can do it for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I would not recommend it. I mean, if you just if you don't like somebody, like if you like at a party and people are drunk and you're like, I don't like that person, you're like, hey, come on over here and play this game, and then
you don't want him to throw your Switch though. That would be bad.
That's true. Or throw up all over your Switch.
And that could actually start a chain reaction.
Oh,
I'd be careful about that.
I like that scene in Stand By Me.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Christian, have you seen that movie?
Christian, you know what we're talking about?
I don't. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. watch Stand By Me at least once. It's a good movie.
Okay. Stand by me at least once.
At least once.
Does the game run okay, Mike, on the VR?
Oh yeah, it runs
For
fine.
3
I had no
minutes.
problem with it.
For 3 minutes,
Yeah, for
okay.
3 minutes it runs great. Then
I
I'm the
gotcha.
one running. But yeah, it's no, it works. It definitely works, and I think if Nintendo works on it, they can definitely make some good VR versions of their games. Like I said, it should be like unbelievably easy for them to update their Switch Online NES games to have 3D support.
Yeah.
Or VR support, I guess. I mean, I would love to see a game, like like Punch Out,
Heck yeah.
in that kind of style, or playing Contra, those vertical levels, or the ones where you're in the base and you have to you're like shooting forward instead of side to side. But I digress. I would not recommend it.
Oh,
Interesting. Anything else?
And that's all I played.
oh.
For myself, I have also been playing the Valhalla Cyberpunk bartender game. I'm not quite as far as you, Christian. I made it through day one, but I enjoy the writing. I think the story is really interesting. I'm actually doing something instead of just clicking a button to read through text for an hour. The game starts off by saying, sit back, grab yourself a drink, relax, enjoy the game. And you know what? Maybe it's my age. Maybe that's just the kind of games I enjoy. But I do like sitting back and just like getting like, I don't know, immersed into a story, and like that's what I'm liking about it. Like I don't know much about this character yet, but she's sarcastic and witty, and like I feel like she shouldn't be a bartender there. I feel like she should be doing something more with her life. But it's cool. Like she's in love with her boss, but that's kind of a weird situation. But I think it's good. I don't know. But that's, again, I'm not the one that wants to play Cuphead at the hardest levels.
Yeah.
On a Joy-Con.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that. I've been playing Shakedown Hawaii as well. So after I saw Mike stream it, I wanted to go out and get it, so I bought it. So it came out Thursday, right, Mike? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday. And so I woke up early because you couldn't pre-order it. So I woke up early. I'm like, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to download it because it probably won't take that long, and I'm going to play for an hour. And it wasn't available yet, and that made me sad. Yeah. So then I had to play it when I got home, which is fine. But I'm enjoying that game, and yeah, I mean, a lot of the references are funny. I mean, I knew a lot of the stuff I was playing through already because I watched you play through it. I will say it's also a commentary on millennials, Mike.
I'm one of those.
Yeah. No, I
We're
mean,
ruining everything.
It is funny, like how the main character is like lived on this book that he wrote in the 80s, and like, and then they're like, yeah, your money's gone, and he's like, what? And then you have a bum of a son, apparently.
Yeah.
Tell him to get a job. He's 32, so he's a little bit older than you, Christian. Maybe he's not. Maybe, I don't know. I guess that's still millennial-ish.
Maybe it's a comment on people who were born in the 80s.
Well, that's not me either.
Or 70s.
Anyway,
We're just spreading a really wide net here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or 60s.
Let's just aggravate everyone.
And so I'm enjoying that. And then there's one game I'm playing I can't talk about right now. But yeah. But I've been spending a lot of time with that game too.
Sweet.
So with that, let's take a break. And then when we come back, we'll get into our hot topic. And our hot topic this week is, because I just saw Detective Pikachu, how come they can't make a good movie based on a video game? We'll talk about that when we come back, so stay tuned. And welcome back to GamerHeads. This week, we'll be talking about our hot topic, how come they can't make a good movie based on a video game. So, this stems from a couple things. I would say Sonic the Hedgehog, even though that hasn't come out yet. I think we're all in agreement that doesn't look great. I went to go see Detective Pikachu tonight, and the kids loved it. and I got free cards. That was cool.
Yay.
It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. So I want to talk through like why. Well, first of all, like, yeah, why can't we have a good movie based on a video game? And I mean, there's a lot of references. I mean, I would say that. So a lot of people that argue with me. Christian, I'd be interested to see, and Mike, Blue. I mean, I don't know if I feel like you two would be on my side, but I'm not sure how Christian would feel about this. But the Super Mario Brothers game or movie. 2 thumbs down from me. I would think. I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree, but
I've never seen it.
what? Blue, have
Oh,
you seen it?
I have.
And do you agree with me?
It's, I think you need to ask, what were they trying to accomplish, and what are you
Yeah.
looking for in a movie? They clearly didn't understand the property.
Yes.
Clearly did not. And from what I understand, the production of it was a complete train wreck. Everybody
Yeah.
hated being there. So, of course,
Yep.
that shows in the final product.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah, it's just like you've seen the pictures of Bowser, because you've got
Dennis
the
Hopper,
heck is his
right?
name?
Doesn't he
Yes,
play
Dennis Hopper.
Bob?
That was like
Yeah.
I was just talking about him the other day. You got Dennis Hopper, and then he pulls off the human mask, and he's got this little bitty green head, and it's like, well, okay, what should they have done instead?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're in the 80s and you're gonna make a Mario movie, what should they have done instead?
Yeah, that I don't. I mean, I have no. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, in the 80s, that's a good question. I don't know.
Mhm.
Christian, have you seen the Mario movie?
No, I have not.
Okay. So, but I mean, outside of some rare occasions, I mean, I would say most of the movies based on games are not good. Like they're coming up with a Monster Hunter movie, right?
That looks, yeah, that looks something.
So I want to talk about like why are they bad? And I think Blue, one of the things that you mentioned was they don't understand the property, and I think
Yeah,
that has a lot
That's
to do
like
with
'cause
it.
the Monster Hunter one, it's so different, right? Sonic is so different,
Yeah.
and it might just be like the same problem that Hollywood always has with adapting books, right? So they take a book and they say, this book is fantastic. It's got a huge audience. We love the story. Let's make a movie and change it all. I don't know why they do that, but they do that with books. And I suppose it would make sense that they feel like they could do it with games as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I mean, that's when. So one question I had about Pokemon was did the game come first and then the anime, or did the anime come first and then the game? I don't know.
The game was first.
The game
Yes.
was first?
Yeah, but not by much.
Not by much. Okay. So, I mean, I feel like the cartoons do a really good job with tying into the game. I mean, like you can play through the game and you're like, "Oh, yeah, like this is," or you watch the show and you're like, "Yeah, I remember that part." But except like they get rid of Red like right away in the cartoon.
He's
But-
annoying anyway.
He is pretty annoying. Although I was thinking about this as I was walking out of the movie today. They should do a what if Red got Pikachu? That'd be interesting.
That
But
would be good for like one episode of the anime.
yeah,
I think that's about all you could get out of that.
That's true. That's true. But I think that with this Detective Pikachu, I feel like they got some of the things. I mean, they sprinkled it with things that people are gonna say, "Oh, I know that from Pokemon. I know that from Pokemon." Like, I'll give them credit for that, but the writing was really bad and the acting was terrible. Like, the only saving grace, but even that was not that good because looking back, it doesn't make any sense. Was Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu? Like,
It's
even that
super
was not
odd
great.
choice to
Mhm.
me.
yeah. I mean, it's so
They're just
I think,
trying to cash in on him.
Yes. yes.
As for his own popularity, as opposed to him actually being a good choice
yes.
for the part.
It was like a PG version of Deadpool playing Pikachu. Because there were some things in there like, oh, that was interesting. Like, why did he do that? Oh, because he's trying to be funny, because it's Ryan Reynolds being funny. Haha. And the movie, if you look back, you're like, that none of that made any sense at all. At all. And that's this is the worst part. So I took my kids, and my kids were like, well, that was a great movie, Dad. And then I started explaining the plot holes in the movie, and my daughter was like, yeah, you're right. That's bad. Why? Oh, that's not good.
And now Roger is that guy.
Yeah.
I know. I ruined a childhood memory for my kid.
I'd like to hear your conversations right around Christmas time.
Yeah. Or I made my kids a better member of our society because they can identify really bad movies. Because this is not good. I'm sorry, it's not good. Like, there are moments that I chuckled, but I will tell you, I think everybody in that theater, the whole 25 people or 30 people that were in there, all felt the same way. Like, what the hell is this? Because there is no connection to the main character at all. I don't really care about this character. But they try to force feed you, like, you are going to like this character and you're going to feel for this character. And yeah, and it wasn't good. Even at the end, I'm just like, I feel like that journey was a waste of time. Why did I even, it was bad.
Do you play the Pokemon games?
Well, I mean, with my daughter, I do. Sure. I mean, she's really into Pokemon. So, I mean, I play Sun and Moon. I've played Pokemon Blue, and I played Pokemon Yellow, and I played Alpha Red, or what's that one? Omega Red,
Omega
Ruby, and yeah, I did play Pokemon games. Omega Red, Omega. That's a Marvel character.
Yeah, that's an X-Men character.
Yeah. Omega Ruby, and I bought the Let's Go Pikachu.
Oh yeah, that's right. You streamed that before.
Mm-hmm. So I do play Pokemon games, and I watch all the cartoons with my kids, so I know enough about the Pokemon. And I have cards. Not that we ever really play, but I do have Pokemon cards. I'm not saying I'm a fan.
Is beyond Pokemon, of course.
What's that?
The issue of bad video game movies is beyond Pokemon, of course.
Yeah. It's just that was the most recent one. But yeah, absolutely. So go ahead, Mike.
Let me ask this to everybody. What video game movies do you consider to be good?
Does Resident Evil count?
I liked Resident Evil 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I saw Resident Evil, the first one, twice in theaters. I thought it was good.
Yeah, but it was a zombie movie first.
Yeah, it was a zombie movie. It was what it was, and there were no characters from the game, well, except the liquor. I thought they did a great job with Nemesis, even though they kind of like made him sympathetic. But I thought it was pretty good. But after that, they just took a nosedive right after that.
But do you think that, kind of what Blue was saying, it's a good movie, but not because
I didn't say it was a good movie.
Okay. No. I mean, but no, that's not what you said. I have to say that if it's a good movie, it's not because of their understanding the video game franchise. It's because it was a zombie movie. We didn't need to know anything about the video game franchise.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's kind of, in my opinion, that's part of the problem as well, is that with these Hollywood types, they get this, I've got this established franchise that everybody loves. All right, well, I'm going to put my own interpretation on it. I'm going to make it mine.
Yeah.
As opposed to, for the fans. And that's, I remember when the first X-Men movie was being made, and they announced or they showed images of all the characters.
Leather suits.
And the leather suits, and everybody was up in arms. Why are they not wearing the red and blue? Or the red and gold? Man, let me try this again. Why are they not wearing the gold and blue? There we go.
Because they're not cool, Mike.
Yeah.
There's no yellow and blue in the Matrix.
Yeah, all about that black leather. Ugh. But, it worked because, they got the characters down. And I don't know, it's just... I haven't seen a video game based movie, non-animated, I must say, that did enough right by the characters. Tomb Raider, I think they did pretty good by Lara Croft. I think they did all right by her. Prince of Persia, that was kind of a mess. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I actually paid at the theater to see the House of the Dead movie.
Michael.
I know.
Oh. Was that good?
Oh my God. I was crying. You remember when I said earlier about how I have a strong stomach?
Yeah.
This is one of those situations where I didn't. It was this director. There were scenes where they're shooting all these zombies and they cut
Yes.
scenes from the game into
Yes.
the movie.
What?
I was hoping you would mention that. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
and it gets better. Not only that, but there are like 9 main characters in this movie, and during this big third act fight scene, every single one of them gets a Matrix moment where the camera slowly zooms around them while they do some kind of gun crazy move. And it lasts like 5.5 minutes of nothing but every single character getting this stupid camera wrap that's been overdone. Because the House of the Dead movie came out in like 2003, and the Matrix stuff was overused by 2002, June
By
probably.
2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was way overdone. Yeah, I'm giving it a little bit more than I should. But that movie was just god awful. Just oh man, it was terrible. Sorry, I still regret spending my money on
That's
that.
wonderful.
I want to watch the movie now.
You should. I mean, for beeps and giggles, then go for it, man. It's so terrible. I'm trying to think of like some of the other. There was a Far Cry movie that was by that same
What?
director that was
Really?
pretty terrible.
Wow, I didn't even know some of these movies existed. There's an Assassin's Creed movie. Has anyone seen that one?
No.
No.
I heard that wasn't good.
Yeah, the Hitman movie wasn't good because you didn't really care much about Agent 47.
There's 2 Hitman movies.
There were 2 Hitman movies. That's right. Yeah, that didn't work out
Did
very well.
Jason
The Max
Statham
Payne
play-
movie.
There was a Max Payne that was terrible.
Wow.
Not good.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think that I don't know. They need to do right by the character. I don't know. Understand why it's so much more difficult to make a video game based movie than it is to make a comic book based movie because they've done well with comic book movies. Although there's been some terrible ones like Daredevil and stuff.
Yeah, but there's been good ones. But there's one actually good one. It's not really even a movie. It's just a short that was made by Nathan Fillion. And that's
the difference of when it's made by somebody who understands and cares about the property.
Yeah. And that was what is that?
Uncharted.
Uncharted, thank you. That was really good. Did anybody see that?
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Okay. I thought it was good.
And I also think that they're picking the wrong games to make movies out of.
Yeah.
They're making what's the one that they're making what is that, like a Centipede movie or no, an Asteroids movie or something.
They're making Tetris?
That's right. They're making a Tetris movie. You know what I want to see? I want to see a Dead Space movie. I want to see a BioShock movie. I think those could work. Like not like a BioShock prequel. Doesn't even have to follow the game. Like follow like the decay and the destruction of now the name of the city escapes me. I'm sorry.
New Donk?
No, not New Donk City.
Oh.
They're
coming out with a movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's see, I'm looking forward to that because that's animated.
Yeah.
To me, the make it or break it for the Mario movie is going to be all based on Mario's voice.
Oh yeah.
I can't listen to Charles Martinet for an hour and 20 minutes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Be great. That'd be great. I don't understand why they always feel the need to screw with the character designs, and Sonic is a paramount, like perfect in the forefront of our minds example of this. Why do you screw with the iconic character designs that are instantly recognizable and who have had brands built upon their likenesses for decades, and you just swipe that all to the side to, make this new thing in a new movie? Doesn't make sense. What's the point of even making a video game movie at that point? I don't know. But I feel like you're screwed if you do, and you're screwed if you don't, because if you diverge from the source material in an attempt to make a good movie, you alienate the established fans.
Yeah.
And that's largely the only reason why you're making the movie in the first place, because you've got that instant install base. You've got X number of guaranteed tickets if you make a Sonic movie, if you make a Pokemon movie. So why do that? But then if you stick too close to the source material, then it just doesn't work on the big screen, because you can't just, film someone playing a video game and then put it out in the theater and be like, there you go. Because a movie leans on its narrative way more than a game does, because a game can lean more on its mechanics, its challenge, its progression. And a movie can't do that. In the movie, the story's just sitting there and being laid bare in front of you. And like, if they made a movie out of the story of Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I played through like 10 months ago, oof, that would be rough. That wouldn't be good at all. And I hope that's not what the new Tomb Raider movie is.
I think so. I think that's supposed to be.
That was not a good story.
Part of the reboot, I think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought that was the whole thing, that they were remaking Lara Croft in that movie. And the new movie.
The Tomb Raider reboot was okay.
The game or the movie?
The movie. It wasn't anything special. I didn't, it had Walton Goggins in it, and I'm a big fan of him.
What about the original Tomb Raider?
No, the original.
We don't speak of those.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is a video game movie, non-animated, of course, what we're talking about, that I actually like. But I think the new Tomb Raider came closest to being. It was the most watchable. I enjoy the reboot of Lara Croft, where she's just not automatically Mary Sue at everything. It's nice to see her start from somewhere and have to build up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's a good point. It definitely showed that more human side of her, and I loved the Tomb Raider reboot.
Yeah, and so you can't make a good video game movie if the game, kind of like you were saying, doesn't have a good story to begin with, or doesn't have good characters to begin with. And the original Lara Croft, she's iconic, but I would contend she's not a good character.
Yeah,
I agree. I have one other point, and then I'll shut up. I promise. I think another problem with games, why games do not make for good movies, is when you're playing a game, you're investing 40 hours into a story, whereas in a movie, they have an hour and a half to tell that story.
Yeah.
Which is why I think games would be better suited for like a Netflix series or something. Like, I would love to see a Red Dead Redemption series that takes place, that takes just like the Red Dead Redemption story, takes place over 3 seasons. I think that would be much better than trying to cram all of that into an hour and a half.
Well, you're going to get The Witcher.
I never played The Witcher.
Oh, well, you're going to get The Witcher on Netflix.
All right. Well,
yeah,
I guess I'm going to start playing The Witcher.
We'll see. That's interesting, though. You were talking about deviating too much. And because I feel like those pictures came out of Henry Cavill in Geralt's costume, and people hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I think Mike, I think that's a really good point, and I think that's why they can't. It's really hard for a movie studio to take a game property and make it into a movie, because of the fact that they don't have this whole 40 hours, like you said, to build up to make it into something, and they have to do it in a very short time, and they have to appease both the fans and people that they just want the average moviegoer to go to, right? Like they obviously they want to attract the fans, but they also want to attract people that are just gonna be like, ooh, cool, a Mario movie. Okay, yeah. I have nothing else going on this weekend. Let's go to see Mario. Like, I think it's a hard,
funny.
Yeah, and that's why I think that a lot of the movies that you see have nothing to do with the game properties at all. Like the storylines, I should say. Like the Detective Pikachu. I haven't played Detective Pikachu the game, but outside of like mentioning, Pikachu and some of the Pokemon, and then there was a mention of, Pokemon tournaments. That was it. That was it. And I mean, there's a major Pokemon outside of Pikachu in the movie.
I'm gonna take my headset off.
But I'm not talking about. I won't mention it. But But I mean, I'm just saying, like, in all movies, even, like, you know, I look back at the Mario movie in the 80s. I mean, they couldn't even get any of the characters right, but I think that's hard to write when you're trying to write for a mass of people that don't really know a lot about the characters to begin with. Like, Luigi is the main character in the Mario movie.
I don't know if Mario's a good example for that, though, because everybody knows Mario now.
Yeah, that's true. But during the 80s, did they? I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's a special case. That's something that should just never have been made.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose they could have gone like the whole like Jim Henson kind of over the top, all kinds of puppets and stuff like that.
That would have been cool.
But they tried to make it kind of like dark and gritty.
Yeah.
Which is the whole thing of where they don't understand the property.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
And who was the actor that played Luigi?
Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah. That was a mistake. That was a bad casting, too. It was a bad casting.
It
feel
doesn't
like
stand out in my mind as being bad compared to everything else in the movie. It stands out as being, it's one of the least bad things.
It's on par with the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Christian?
I feel like we're beating around the bush here and ignoring the fact that the best video game movie adaptations of all time are Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter because they're such beautiful and magnificent train wrecks that you just can't stop watching them. Yeah. And that's why I am legitimately excited about the new Sonic movie, and it is the only video game movie that I have actually been excited about because it looks like an absolute train wreck.
You'll like the Mario movie then, I think.
Yeah, you would, actually. Yeah, I think you would, actually. Well, I mean, because I talk to people that are younger than me, so like when Matt and Jake were on the show years ago, and they're in their early 30s, and I mentioned Mario and how terrible it was, they're like, I loved that movie. That was a great movie. And I think part of it is nostalgia.
Because, yeah, people were kids, and then their parents let them keep liking it.
Yes, yes. And, like, we watched it, and I was, like, older, and I'm like, this isn't good at all. Like, this is terrible. I think there is a nostalgia factor for some of those movies, too. So, for sure. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's disappointing because I feel like this is something that's going to keep happening where the industry is going to try to keep tapping into, you know, this market that they see is untapped, and it's just going to get worse, I think, before it gets better, if it even gets better. I don't know.
I don't think that is the problem. I think more what we're running out to is, like, you know, everybody saw this week all the announcements about all the new Star Wars movies and all the new MCU movies that Disney has planned. And I don't think it has to do with people looking for an untapped market so much as the studios thinking that it doesn't really matter what the movie is, just churn them out. Keep the titles coming. They don't have to be, you know, good.
Yeah.
And people will still keep going to see them. So everybody's going to go see the new Star Wars. Everybody's going to go see the new MCU, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's true. And the new Avatar movies.
I don't think anyone's going to see those.
I don't know.
I bet they will.
I didn't realize Disney owned Avatar now, too.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that. So, any final thoughts on this topic?
I want to see a Deadly Creatures movie.
Oh.
Let's
make it happen.
Animation Studios.
Let's make it happen.
Yes. Yes. That.
That's all
I
got.
agree.
Yeah. The best part of the Doom movie is the 5 minutes at the end where they do it in first person.
That was a good part.
I forgot about that movie. Well, The Rock was in that movie too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
He's the bad guy.
He's the bad guy?
Yeah,
I thought he
he's
was
the bad guy.
Oh, Wow.
In terms of the cheesy horror, it's not too bad.
Wow.
The Rock is also in the Rampage movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think people seem to generally like that. I don't know if that's because it's actually good or because The Rock saves it or because our standards are so low.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's stupid popcorn fun.
Oh, you went to see it, Mike?
Oh yeah, I went to see it.
See, people
Yeah,
like their stupid popcorn fun, and that's why
Yeah.
the studios say you just got to churn them out. It doesn't really matter what goes in them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a movie about 3 gigantic creatures destroying skyscrapers. It's not, this isn't Macbeth here.
That's good.
So, listeners, what are your thoughts? Why can't we have a good movie based on a video game? You can send us a tweet at GamerHeadsPC. You can send us an email at info@gamerheadspodcast.com. You can also go to our Facebook page and leave us a message there at facebook.com/GamerHeadsPodcast. And then lastly, you can also go to our website, and that's GamerHeadsPodcast.com. All right, before we go, let's go around and tell people how they can get a hold of us. So, Christian, how can people get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me on Twitter at Christian Cubza. Otherwise, you can read my reviews at Push Square, New Game Network, and GamerHeadsPodcast.com.
Thanks. And Mike, how can people get a hold of you?
You could find me on Twitter at TCThrowers. You could also find the Controller Throwers podcast right here on GamerHeadsPodcast.com. And be sure to check us out at twitch.tv/TCThrowers.
Nice. And Blue, how can people get a hold of you?
You can almost always find me on Twitter. My handle is @WritersView, and it's spelled with a Y, so WRY. And then I also have a website, which is writersview.com.
Nice. And listeners, as I said before, you can always follow us on Twitter, and that's GamerHeads PC. We also have a link to the iTunes account. And if you love the show and you want to show us some love, please do give us a review there. And if you leave a comment, we'll actually read that online on the show as well. So do that. Click the link. Leave us a review. We'd love to hear what you have to say. All right. Thanks, Mike, for joining the show.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you, Christian, for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
And Blue, thank you for joining the show.
You're welcome.
And listeners, thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate your time. All right, until next time, keep playing games that you enjoy. Go see movies that are worth seeing. Don't spend money on on cheap group-off movies unless you want to. But yeah,
This is going
that's all I have
well.
to say. This is
This is going well.
It keeps getting better and better.
I know.
Every time.
See, I'm going to have one week. It's going to be a good ending. So, all
Hopefully
right.
It's going to be like a 3.5 hour goodbye.
Goodbye, folks. It was really nice talking to you. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.